Okay, so we're live.
Thank you for staying with us. As we're all aware, the governorship elections in Ondo State are taking place in about a week. So preparations are in high gear. The political parties are all putting finishing touches to their plans to win the elections, which will take place next week. And the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has called for a peaceful and credible election. And you will recall also that Peace Pact, the Peace Pact
yesterday.
Has been signed. Not that that means anything from what we have seen from other states. They signed that pact. The elections take place. Even during the elections, we see all kinds of things happening. But we are hoping and praying that this does not happen in Ondo State next week. We have two of the candidates vying to take over Government House next week. With us in the studio this morning, we have Dr. Abbas Mimiko. That's a very familiar name, isn't it? I mean, the last name. He's of the Zenith Labour Party. Good morning.
Good morning, my sisters.
And we also have Honorable Benga Edema of the New Nigeria Party.
People's Party.
New Nigeria People's Party. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
So in my introduction, I said that you were putting finishing touches to your campaign, Honorable. Let me start with you. What exactly does your package look like? What are you offering the people of Ondo State? What are the things that you are putting finishing touches to?
Thank you so much. I thank God for the opportunity to be here. Well, like I said behind the camera, the people of Ondo State, let me say I bring glad tidings to them from the people of Ondo State. Because they were not too happy about the November 3rd episode, the one you called debate. You made it look like those are the two people that the Ondo State could produce. And it was, in fact, they put them in a state of despair. A hopeless situation, as if, could this be our best?
That's why we are here now.
I'm sure. So you must have had the feedback, but they have forgiven you. Because in actual fact, it affected the reputation of channels in Ondo State. As if it was a syndicated debate, and you shut out even the best hand, the best brains in Ondo State. But they said they have forgiven you because you have given us this opportunity again, so that we can tell the people of Ondo State what we are capable of doing, so that they can have informed decision. And that's why I say only candidates should be able to talk.
I'm sure you've been telling them already.
We are telling them.
So this is another opportunity to go.
Available for us. Let the people of Ondo use your media to tell the people of Ondo State what they are going to do.
That's
not
exactly
by
her
proxies.
question.
That was my question.
I said not by proxies. So now back to that. We have a 7-point agenda. Thank God I'm the only person and the only party that has a codified manifesto in this election. And we have reduced it to a 7-point agenda. Free education at all levels, from primary school to university. You will ask me how I want to achieve it later. Free health services. Then we intend to restore the government, the glory of the local governments to them, so that poverty will be removed from the grassroots. Because when the local governments are functioning, they will be able to also meet the needs and the yearnings of the people at the grassroots. Then the youth and women empowerment program we have put in place is to the extent that we should allow our young ones to benefit from their God-given talent. We enhance it. Could it be music in the creative industry? Could it be sports through industrialization? We intend to do that. And we have codified this one. Then we are talking about a functioning city. Because urbanization is also going. Akure is becoming a mega city, for instance. In another 5 or 10 years, Akure will not have farmlands. What are we doing? Or they will not have farmlands as we go on. Or we will not have farmlands. Or Ondo City will not have farmlands. What are we going to do? So we are talking about a functioning city, a sustainable city. So we are also talking about security. We have a Amotekun in place, no doubt. But there's a limit to what our can do under our constitution. But there's no limit to what they can do in terms of detection of crime through technology, prevention of crime through technology, even post-crime activities like having laboratories where you can check DNA and things like that. Those are the things we intend to use to make sure that security in Ondo State is taken for granted, because we are going to do it. So those are the 7 points agenda we are saying. And concerning the free education we're talking about, we said we'll do free education at all levels. I can beat my chest.
Honorable, slow down. Let's go through that again, please. Free education.
Yes,
free
health services, local government autonomy, and giving back to local governments the asset as enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes.
They're having functional cities. Functional and sustainable cities.
That's 4.
The youth and women empowerment programs.
5.
Their security.
6. 1 is missing.
I will remember.
Okay, all right. Yes. Over to you, sir.
Thank you.
What are you offering the people of Ondo State?
Thank you very much. Just to piggyback on what my brother, Barrister Dema, just said, Channels is a reputable organization. You boast 1.4 billion viewers, or views, as the case may be. This organization came to Ondo State and did something that greatly influenced people's opinion of Channels and of the race that we're running. We tried to join the debate. We wrote, we emailed, we sent people who were locked out. Now, it might sound simple. It has deep, far-reaching implications for an organization, a member of the 5th estate of the realm. You are supposed to be the watchdog of democracy and free political enterprise. If you had a syndicated program, a debate that is supposed to be between 2 billionaire candidates, you ought to have made that disclosure. Look, we are only interviewing PDP, APC because they are paying for this. We're not going to let all the other pass. Because I said, ask Shehu Okinbaloye, where did you get your polls that told you that PDP and APC were leading? In our internal polling, we were leading by at least 55% margin. The 2 candidates you paraded were not even running second. And I say, is it KPMG? What? I don't know how you arrived. And you started displaying their advertisements again and again and again. And we just, thank God for this opportunity. Sister Alira, I appreciate this. I appreciate this opportunity, but this is not a solution to what we are saying. I mean, in order to live up to your reputation as a major credible news organization globally, not just within Nigeria, you still need another debate where you put the candidates in the crucible and let them talk about what they want to do for the people. Now, back to your question. What do I have in mind that I want to be governor? We have these 7 Ks of prosperity. It doesn't mirror my brother's own because we started this idea of 7 Ks of prosperity before any other candidate started talking 7, 7, 7. I don't know what is magical about the figure 7. Our own is grassroots-based. Karije, food security for everyone in Ondo State. Karimu, portable water supplied to every home in Ondo State. Karina, rapid, aggressive, relentless industrialization drive for every citizen of Ondo State and entrepreneurship. Karika, educational opportunities that will be robust, accessible, and of top quality for every citizen. The 5th one is Kanilelona. We are building 20,000 3- and 4-bedroom houses for the poor and the common people of Ondo State based on a 30-year mortgage plan. And we are going to be doing our roads by direct labor and by contract. The 6th one is Kanilera, health services that will be affordable and of quality. Maternal care will be absolutely free. No pregnant woman will need to pay a dime in order to bring a life to life. Children 0 to 6 years in Ondo State, the most critical time of their development, all their medical care will be free. Elderly people 70 years and above, basic medical care free. The young, the able, and the vibrant that are in the working class, robust health insurance policies that will make them be able to afford treatment when they need it. And the last one is Kala Lafia, peace and security will be guaranteed for every citizen. There cannot be development in an ambience of violence, of insecurity. In that regard, we are going to strengthen our traditional federal agencies of security. Beyond that, we're going to strengthen our Mateko and build it into a specialized force. It's going to be a neighborhood watch. I will take care of our neighborhoods. Going to be a farmland watch. I will take care of the farm plantations that we're producing for the state, because Carriage is going to bring 10,000 hectares of cultivated land to every local government of Ondo State under my watch. There's going to be campus watch, so that miscreants that have taken over the campuses will get out, and the campuses will be secure for our children and wards. There's going to be frontier watch. Those are the ones parading the boundaries of the state, so that there's no kidnapping that will be successful under my watch in Ondo State. We're going to deploy satellite technology, drone technology. We're going to train our frontier watchers as commandos. In fact, we're going to call them the Ekun Squad. Matekun is the total name. Ekun Squad, that's the peak of hunting. By the grace of God, we'll have a beautiful place, a place of pride in Ondo State.
Let me come to Barrister Edema. You have mentioned your 7 points agenda.
Yes, that's what was rural development, which are faithful. Community and rural development.
Okay, let's start with free education.
Good.
We all know that the economy is not what we all want it to be. From the federal to the state government, there's been struggling. How do you intend to, in practical terms, to do free education?
Thank you. There's this saying that if you think education is expensive, you try ignorance. In Ondo State, I was chairman of the Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, or SOPADEC. And when we were there, every year we were giving scholarship and bursary to students of the mandate area, Elijah and Ondo, who are in tertiary students. And went to the tune of about 240, 250 million naira per annum, because we have 1 year budget. So it always appears in our budget. But I have also found out, as somebody who has served in government, that for every contract that is given by Ondo State government, whether through the Works Ministry, whether through SOPADEC, whether through SUPEB, whether through local government, there's a 2% window. They call it education tax, deducted as source. What happens to this money? Forget about, take the budget for granted. I'm talking about this special fund that is deducted from all our capital projects, and take it from source. Before you pay the contractor, you deduct VAT, you deduct withholding tax. You also deduct this education tax, which is 2%. The last budget of Ondo State for 2021 is 400 billion naira. So if you do a 50-50 of capital and recurrent, it means that 2% will be about 4 billion naira. So which means we can put 4 billion as seed money. You know, a seed money is without prejudice to the budget on education itself. So which means exercise books 500 naira per 60 leaves per person. So which means if a child is in JS1 and is doing 15 subjects, that's 500 naira times 15, that's 7,500 naira for a child, maybe per term. So in any case, this 4 billion naira seed money will cater for exercise book, will cater for tuition. Because I don't know why they pay tuition. For instance, we pay the salaries and allowances of all the teachers and persons who are working in these schools. So why are you collecting tuition again from these pupils? Who utilizes the tuition? When we already have this kind of money, start somewhere, and we are not exposed. So we are going to give them tuition free exercise books, uniforms, a desk and lockers, which students in Ondo State today still buy when you are admitted into GS1. All this one will be a thing of the past. And I have seen it happen before, between 1979 and 83. Even when our economy was not as buoyant, Papa Jashi did it. We are not oil producing in 1990, in 1979 to 83. And there are other sources of funding that comes to Ondo State. So by the grace of God, upon inauguration on the 24th of February 2025, we are sending a bill to the House of Assembly to codify this as one of the sources of our Education Trust Fund law. And once we have these laws in place and the commission to handle it on an agency, we can be sure that we are going to give them education at all levels. Mind you, the federal government is already paying catapult funding for primary schools through UBEC. So it's not a 100% payment by the Ondo State government. So all we need to do at that level is also pay our counterpart from the federal government will supply its own version. You think you disagree? Because you are shaking your head, I want to know whether you disagree with the fact that I'm espousing. So now, for another level, we have to go ahead and strengthen our vocational and technical education. If you treat your vocational and technical education well, all these children, they are like people you send to the industry to go and work after 1 year of academic training, because it's supposed to be a practical approach. So if somebody is learning how to weld, for instance, can you learn welding in the classroom? Somebody is trying to be a POP or something in the BD industry. Do you learn it in the classrooms? So we are going to deploy them to the industry after 1 year of training in the technical school, because we lack capacity in these areas today. And that's why we import tilers, we import POP people from Benin Republic and Togo. We are going to feed that gap.
I beg your pardon. This education you're talking about, is it at all levels?
All levels. That's how I'm putting them from strata to strata.
Okay.
So I've talked about primary and secondary education. I've now moved to vocational and technical education. And vocational and technical education on its own can finance itself, because once you train these students, maybe 1 year or 1.5 years in the classroom, the rest 1.5 years, because they spend is a 3-year program. In fact, some are 2 years program. So all you do is that you deploy them to industries. And in the last 1.5 years, when you deploy them to industry, they will be paid stipends there. So why would they need to pay school fees to be able to access those ones? And for the university.
University?
Yeah, for the university, you think it's not doable. First of all, in the university, I can only do free education in university where I have the visitor. So the institution must belong to the government of Ondo State. Because we are going to reorganize the organizational structure so that this institution can access money from other sources apart from tuition, from research findings, from printing of journals and what have you, and other consultancy services they will be able to render to the government of Ondo State and to the whole world at large. So once they have other sources of funding, they will depend less on the tuition that our pupils, children or students should pay. But that is to say, that's not to say that if you are in Federal University of Technology Akure or University of Ife, I don't have control over those ones. So if you are students of Ondo State origin in those schools, I can only avail your scholarship and bursary and perhaps the loan that we also match with the federal government through the federal government's loan board, which has been put in place now.
Dr. Mimiko, still on education. On your agenda is also education for all. Please, you need to expatiate on that.
You see, the concept of karika is beyond just going to school. The concept of karika, human capital development. We know for a fact, it's not controvertible, that the world over, the stronger your human capital is. It's not about Adam Smith or anything now. Everybody knows that the stronger your human capital is, the more advanced your country is. Recently in Nigeria, I bought a drone for $200,000 US. I don't know how we can fathom that. We have engineers, we have very smart people here. So what I'm saying is, our karika concept is to develop a human capital to the point of self-sufficiency. Singapore doesn't have anything. Japan doesn't have mineral resources, and they're among the big economies in the world. What we are going to do is we take our primary schools. Education at the primary level is absolutely going to be free and compulsory. At junior secondary level, up to GS3, it's going to be free and compulsory. Everything paid for by government. When you get to senior...
I beg your pardon, Dr. Mimiko. Before you continue, we know that this country has a free education policy for all children of primary school age.
Exactly.
But it is not enforced. How do you plan to enforce that?
Well,
Make sure that every parent sends their child of primary school age to school.
I'm going to lead from the front. It's going to be a criminal offense to have a child that is supposed to be in school in Ondo State, not in school. The parents are going to be held accountable for that. Primary education will be free and compulsory. Secondary education up to GS3, free and compulsory. Senior secondary school, free and compulsory. But not every child can go beyond GS3. There are some, by virtue of their skills or by virtue of their limitations, will need to go to vocational training. We are not doing vocational centers. We're going to do direct artisan college. What do I mean by that? We send a child who wants to learn to be a tiler to someone who is a guru in tiling. He signs up, we pay him stipend every day for staying on the job, so he doesn't go and drive Okada to feed himself or ride Okada to feed himself. The teacher that is training him is being paid for the services rendered. Upon completion of his training, the equipment, the machinery is going to be bought by the government. Now, for those who go beyond secondary education, going to tertiary education, we are going to have free tuition. We're going to have subsidized tuition, not free tuition, for our tertiary institutions. We're going to pay them robust bursaries. We're going to make sure we put Wi-Fi on every campus because there's a limitation on the library content of universities and colleges of education now. We give them free Wi-Fi so that they can access libraries from around the world to do their homework, their research. We are going to make sure we put what we call a food bank. It's part of our Carriage project. A food bank on campuses where our children will take their citizenship card to the food bank and buy foodstuff at highly subsidized rates. We are going to commission new classrooms and new hostels for them. They're being packed like sardines in hostels. Deplorable situation. I don't know how we can be so heartless about the way we treat our children in the universities and colleges. We are going to commission new classrooms. We're going to commission new hostels for them. Now, we are going to make sure their lecturers, their professors, their doctors of letters, the master's degree holders that are instructing them are going to be robustly remunerated in Ondo State. Our payments will be among the best, if not the best in the country. Because a country, a state will never grow beyond the capability of its educational system. Now, what we are going to do is the lecturers will be well paid, allowances such as research grant, allowances to travel and present papers all over the world. We're going to make sure that research is translated into functional work in Ondo State. So for example, you've researched how to use this seed maker or this planter, for example. We're not just going to leave it at the level of theory. We're going to bring it to the praxis of everyday life in Ondo State. We're going to give them things like staff school, allowances to have vehicles and things like that. The whole idea is that we want an Ondo State that will be self-sufficient. We call it circular economy. We are going to produce sunshine. Ondo State, our logo is Sunshine State, right? You are Sunrise. We're Sunshine State. We're going to produce Ondo State. We're going to sell Ondo State. We're going to buy Ondo State. What do I mean by that? In a circular economy, you see, my brother was talking about federal allocation. I understand that allocation is important. It's a paltry sum. What we will make in terms of productivity in Ondo State is going to be stupendous. That we won't even need federal allocation to do the things we have in mind.
I beg your pardon, Doctor. We need to manage our time.
Yes.
And we want to cover as much grounds as possible. We only have about 8 minutes left. Okay. And we still have a whole list of things that you want to do for your state. Yes. Now, let me stay with you. You spoke about free healthcare. Please, in a nutshell, in about 2 minutes only, tell us how you intend to achieve that.
Currently, pregnant women die in Ondo State. Pregnancy shouldn't be a death sentence. Every woman that gets pregnant in Ondo State is going to have free maternal care up to delivery, even if they have to undergo cesarean section. They do it for 400,000 naira now in government hospitals in Ondo State. Number two.
They will get it for free?
Free, absolutely free.
Okay.
It was done during the Iroko era, and we knew how it was done. And it's not an expensive project. It's going to be brought back. Number two, with every child born in Ondo State, up until they're 6 years of age, all medical care will be on the state. Because I'm a medical doctor. This is the critical time of their lives. Once you miss it, you miss the bus.
Sorry, let me come in here. How is the state under you if you get to be the governor? How is the state going to provide the funds for all of this that you've mentioned? You talked about internally generated revenue. Right now, it's about, I think, 40 billion or something.
3 to 4 billion.
Only.
No, as at last year, yes.
For the whole year.
Yes. So how do you intend to get the funding for this? Because if you say it will be free, it will be free, it will be free, you know, when we say it sounds good.
These are well-researched things I'm talking about. I'll give you an example. Let me just complete my thought. Elderly people 70 and above will have basic medical care on the state. I'm a medical doctor. I know most of their problems are diabetes, hypertension, osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and all whatnot. We can take care of those. Now, how do we intend to fund? It's not difficult. You see, once we have this mindset, which the president is trying to take us away from, allocation has doubled. The governor of Ondo State is not doing anything with it that is tangible. Once we get out of this mindset of everything has to be done from Abuja, we're going to do Karije, for example. Our comparative advantage is in agriculture, is in young, vibrant population that can work and earn. For example, under Karije alone, we're having 5,000 to 10,000 hectares of cultivated land per local government. On the catfish farming we are going to do alone, we are going to make 8 billion naira a month.
Okay.
So there's
on farming.
Your free healthcare.
Yeah, my free healthcare.
How do you intend to go about it, and how do you intend to fund it?
Thank you. Currently, there's this
2 minutes only.
Yeah, currently there's this orange contributory pension and insurance scheme for health. How much they earn, what they do, we don't know. It is shrouded in secrecy. But I know that if we do our database very well, especially we are going to reenact and reactivate the one called Kadigbeayo, which was put in place by the last but one administration. That is during Mimiko era. And that's how we start our database, which means that if the contributory insurance scheme is put in place properly, because the estimated population of Ondo State today is about 5 million people, and the working population cannot be less than 2.5 million, therefore. If we have a working population of 2.5 million, and we can capture 1 million of this in the Kadigbeayo scheme, and because currently they still pay this insurance I'm talking about. How much they pay, how they utilize it, we don't know. But if we put an average insurer, a health insurer, as 15,000 naira per person per annum, in 1 million, that's 50 billion naira. You can check it. So 15 billion, there is no consultant who cannot pay. There's no nurse who cannot pay. There's no equipment. And these are intervention fundings without prejudice to our original budget, which we still put some headings under the Ministry of Health and Hospitals Management Board. So we have done a lot of research into it, well-researched about the sources of our funding. And by the time we industrialize, mind you, because the deep sea port is already, the license for deep sea port in Ondo State is secured. All we need to do is to bring in people who will be our technical partners to power it. That deep sea port alone, we hire nothing less than 100,000 persons directly. Indirectly, maybe another 200,000. Therefore, there will be need to have buildings for them. Infrastructure will have to be developed for them so that the place. So all this one will now bring some kind of IGR in terms of payee and other taxes to the people of Ondo State. We will finance it using all these methodologies that we have put in place. So free health is doable, and by the grace of God, we are going to do it. We are not going to separate anybody. We are not going to be divisive about it. It's a policy of government of Ondo State. Once you are from conception to the grave, we will cater for you by the grace of God.
Okay, staying with you. Security.
Security, like we said.
1 minute.
Yeah. Amoteku is already in place. And that's why I give credit to our late governor who conceived the idea of Amoteku. But for Amoteku, bandits were already going to people's house to kidnap. But to the glory of God, when Amoteku, that's the Western State Security Agency, was established, the issue of kidnapping went down. All we now need to do, therefore, is to improve on Amoteku using technology. He has talked about drones and other facilities that we can use. But you said one thing about security, first of all, prevention, and detection and prevention. If you have a lot of intels, you will find out that when people are conceiving the idea of criminality, you already know, and you bust it, and you nip it at the bud. But peradventure, it happens. How do people find out who did what? It's because a lot of people participate in criminality because they are never caught. Okay. And so once you are caught through technology, a lot of people will desist and will suffer the deterrence or
security.
You're giving me half of the time total of my brother.
No, you have taken more time.
1 minute. 1 minute.
I want you to note that. Security, we have Kala Lafia. It can be 1 minute. Kala Lafia.
We got to go when we got to go.
Kala Lafia, the idea is to secure the states that investors can come and people can live in peace. We've said about Tekun. Let me just cite an example. Kidnapping is rampant in Ondo State. We are going to have Frontier Watch in Amatekun. What we do is we hire bright young kids, train them properly, equip them with drones. So, for example, a kidnapping alert goes off in one of the local governments. An amber alert goes off across the state. Everybody is hearing on television, on radio, on your cell phone that a woman 35 years of age wearing red gele, blue hero is kidnapped. Immediately the frontier force there goes into high action. They are equipped. So what we're saying, these are practical
Dr. Mimiko, this sounds like a utopia.
It is not utopia. We have viable, you see, when governance is not being operated at the level of excellence, that's why with everything sounds like utopia in Nigeria. I'm telling you, this is doable, it will be done. There's no question about it that we're going to reduce kidnapping to zero. Kidnapper keeps your cell phone. There are technologies that will track your cell phone, even when you shut it off.
But we have that technology right now, and it's not working too much for us.
I'm going to lead. I'm not talking for Nigeria. Talking for Ondo State.
Okay, we are actually totally out of this time, but I don't know if you can do it in 30 seconds. Yes. If any of the over 2 million registered voters in Ondo State are watching now, what would you like to leave with them before the election day?
On the 16th of November, first of all, come and vote for Gbengedem of the NNPP, because looking at my manifesto, we have the best, and it has practical applications. We're not talking about utopians now. We're talking about we are going to do this. Are we going to get funding for it? And what are the methodologies in place to do it?
Dr. Mimiko.
That is practical, and I expect them to trust me.
You will vote Zenith Labour Party because we are thinking out of the box. We're going to make Ondo State the most productive, the most engaged state in the whole country. Everybody will come to learn from Ondo State when I'm governor, by the grace of God.
Dr. Abbas Mimiko of the Zenith Labour Party, as well as Honorable Gbenga Edema of the NNPP, New Nigeria People's Party, both governorship candidates in the upcoming elections in Ondo State next week. Well, the candidates seem to be ready. We hope that INEC is also ready and that we will have a hitch-free election come the 16th of November. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming to sell your manifesto to the people of Ondo State.
Thank you. You still need one more debate in Ondo State.
Before
for fairness.
Or before 14th.
Thank you very much. Sunrise will be right back in just a moment. Do stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. We are still talking Ondo State, and we have spoken to two candidates. Now we're talking to spokespersons of two other parties, and it's our pleasure to welcome the PDP's campaign spokesperson, Mr. Ayo Fadaka. Good morning.
Good morning.
As well as the APC campaign spokesperson, Mr. Banji Okuomo.
Good morning. Good morning.
My question to you, Mr. Fadaka, is INEC, through its chairman, has said that they are ready for Saturday's elections and they are going to ensure that things are done as they should be done. How much, oh my God, that chuckle was telling, but I will still ask you the question. How much confidence do you have in what INEC has said?
Well, now we are helpless and we are restricted to believing what INEC is saying, in the sense that the INEC that we used to know, because I knew after President Yar'Adua became president, he complained about INEC, that it was not a fair organization, and took steps to rebut INEC. President Jonathan continued in that same stead. What Jonathan did is even more exemplifying, in the sense that he contested an election which he lost, and obeyed and respected the result of that election. Thereafter, INEC has somersaulted, or rather, INEC did somersault to a very terrible state, to the extent that people no longer accord INEC any dignity. In view of what happened in Edo during the last election, thereafter we went campaigning. Each time we would go on field to campaign to the people of my dear state, the people will say, we will vote for you, but ensure that INEC does not steal your vote. And thereafter, we now came back home. We took a look at INEC. We took a very, very serious look at the fellow who sits atop of INEC in Ondo State. Of course, myself and Tony Babala, we were in Ife at the same time, friendly to a level. We discovered that the fellow that is INEC commissioner in Ondo State is indeed a citizen of Ondo State, an indigenous of Ondo State. And why do I say this? He was born, raised, lived, went up to Abuja to work, came back and was living in Ondo State, and continued to live in Ondo State until she was appointed as INEC resident electoral commissioner. We know the address of the family house, which I cannot say on here. Her parents live in Akure. They've always been living there. They continue to live there. And when she retired, she came back to live with them. So as far as we do care, if anybody has stayed or was born in a state and has lived his or her entire life in that state, that fellow is indeed from that state. That is why people like my very good friend, Rita Oji, could have gone to the House of Reps from Lagos State, in view of the fact that her name does not say that she's from here. So INEC as an organization must care about how people perceive it. We were trying to help INEC. We told INEC, this woman is from here. Take her elsewhere. Bring anybody at all that is detached.
In other words, you don't have total confidence in INEC?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And this
Mr.
is based in view of our...
Your thoughts about INEC's preparedness?
Well, as a matter of fact, we, as a political party, we are battle prepared in terms of preparation, in terms of readiness to win the election, and we are so confident that we're going to win the election, because politics or democracy is about number, it's about people. It's not about unnecessary brickrings or unnecessary muscle slinging in the national newspaper or in the television. We believe that power belongs to the people. As far as the INEC is concerned, we as a body, we are not concerned about individuals that are running INEC. INEC is a juridical body. Juridical in the sense that it's guided by law, and they know their law. They have their own set out rules and regulations that regulate their internal workings. I read that as part of their policy, if anyone is from a particular state and the election is going to be conducted in that state, such an individual will not be posted to that state. Now, from the response of INEC to the PDP's allegation, because the first allegation came from the governor of your state, when he raised it as an alarm that the woman in question is from Ondo State. INEC dug deep into their record, and they came up to say, no, the record with us is that the woman in question is not from Ondo State. So, yet, the PDP moved away from that first narrative of where she comes from. They now went to the issue of residency. Now, residency, any Nigerian, wherever you are born in Nigeria, you can reside in any part of the country. It's not a barrier as to determine where you are going to be posted. You are working under a federal establishment like INEC. The issue of naturalization only applies to non-Nigerians, not to Nigerians. If you have domiciled in Nigeria for a very long time, you can get naturalized. Now, the PDP, they are trying to apply the principle of naturalization to Nigerian indigene. So see, they are not saying that, oh, the woman stayed in those, therefore she's likely to be biased. Now the question to now put across is that if, assuming without considering that the woman resided in Ondo State, are we saying that, oh, it is only APC that will have access to the woman in question? Or are we saying that the PDP are not in Ondo State, they are coming from another state? So because they are insinuating that it is only APC that is in Ondo State, oh, the woman is likely going to be biased. So let us call a spade to spade, a spade. I say the PDP has been very, 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 very preposterous in their conduct, in the way and manner they raise issues without basis.
They're very what?
Preposterous. They ridicule the system, they ridicule the operations, they seem to not have anything to offer other than to continue to castigate the system. If you are saying you have no confidence in the INEC at this hour, it is an indication of defeat. It is a sign of fear, and it goes a long way to say that they are not ready for that. And I make bold to say that the PDP is not ready for the election.
Because if APC says PDP is not ready for election, some other candidates also say APC and PDP are old cargoes that must be discarded by the people.
Is only okay. Go ahead.
No, you were going to say something.
Yes, is only an issue of sometimes ill-informed opinions that people prefer here and there. Continuing from where I stopped. We are saying that as a party, we are not scared of the election. We are only scared of the safety of the resource of that election. We care enough to be sure that when we go into the elections, beavers machines will not be preloaded. We care enough to say that collation centers will not be moved from one place to the other. We care enough to say that security agencies will not collaborate with any political party to shortchange the system. You see, we are guided, as a party, we are guided about events that happen, even contemporary events. The last Edo election, you will discover that we were not complaining about INEC until after the last Edo election. After the last Edo election, when PDP was already coasting home, and the IRF portal itself was confirming that fact, coalition was halted abruptly for no reason. No given reason till tomorrow. A particular police officer, a DC, went into coalition and packed coalition outrightly and took into the INEC headquarters. And once they got there, agents of other parties were not allowed access into where the votes are. That is compromising the election. Of course, today, as we stand in Ondo State today, we will beat APC hands down, because in actual fact, they do not have what to campaign on. And if you ask me why, this is a party that has been, that for the last 8 years have been constructing less than 10-kilometer roads within Akure Township, and the roads remain uncompleted. This is a party that can no longer sustain the health facilities in the state. You enter any Ondo State owned hospital today, they are dead. This is a party that even went to the level of introducing fees by whatever guys into our secondary schools and increasing fees at university level, the state-owned universities, to the level, close to something that is obtainable in private universities now. This is a party, again, that we still, at this point at this time of the year, still approve for the reprinting of the 2024 diary. That is to say, everything they do is corruption propelled. And the people of the state know. They know this fact. Look, Banji here that is speaking is a trans-party person. He was in my party. People like Banji move from one party to the other based on what particular designs they have for that moment. So he is not even an APC person to the core.
Mr. Banji, I'm sure you have a few things to say to
I love when Uncle Fadaka is my very senior one. I hold him on a very high esteem. I keep holding him on an argument that there's nothing like party. It's about that individual who leads. The candidate of a PDP today, he was the deputy governor to the immediate past governor of our state for 4 years before he was removed by the governor. Now, he's now candidate of, before joining PDP, he defected from PDP to Zenith Labour. Before coming to PDP, he was APC, from APC to PDP, and from PDP to Zenith Labour Party, and from Zenith Labour Party back to PDP. Now, the question is, what has changed of him? Is it now that the APC in his blood is lost totally? Now, the blood running in his system is that of PDP. That is a blatant lie. I am saying that...
He's not answering your question.
No, I'm answering the question. You are saying that you are not in the position to determine whether I'm answering the question or not. I will lay the premise before I say something. I'm a lawyer. And what I'm saying in a nutshell is that you cannot continue to say, oh, your own party destroys it, one party destroys it. Tell us, the person you are bringing aboard, he has the capacity to deliver. You can have a limousine or a Bentley, and you get a bad driver. The driver cannot drive it well. And let me say, most of the things they have said about whether APC has not done anything in those states, that Governor Lokayi that you are. Governor Lokayi that came on board December 27 as the governor. He was deputy governor. And between that time and now, we can count a number of things which he has done and that have endeared him toward the good people of Ondo State. He was talking about the education sector. The education sector, what Governor Lokayi has done in that area, I can continue to mention. For example, 3.5 billion was committed and released for the revamping of the primary schools in Ondo State in order to activate the primary system. Not only that, this governor, in the last 10 months, released the sum of 1.2 billion to Olusegun Agagu University, which is our own indigenous university. Our people used to complain that that university was not well funded. But under the year that he has funded the university, and the university is active now. In the same government, in the last 10 months, Governor Yetatiwa released the sum of 1 billion naira to revamp University of Medical Sciences. Okay. In the same, it's said that the government has not done anything. In that same government, bursaries have been paid.
Okay, we don't have much time.
We don't come here to come alive.
We are running out of time, and we have to go in 1 minute.
Wow.
So, what do you want to leave with the good people of Ondo State today regarding next week's election? Now, in Ondo State, what I want to leave to them is that we own our destiny as a people in Ondo State. It is our duty and responsibility as a people, because the democracy is about the people, to determine how our future will be properly molded. And how our future will be molded is about sustainability of programs. Now, the governor in Ondo State is APC, and the governor at the central is APC. Okay. We cannot afford to go into opposition in Ondo State. Okay. There was a time we were in opposition and we lost it. Okay, we can't go into opposition.
Yes, but it's amusing listening to his litany of lies.
Your message to the people of Ondo State in closing.
Well, my dear people in Ondo State, we have come this far and we have seen how hard and deceitful it has been. We have seen a governor within the space of 10 months that took 125 billion naira. More than what Agagu took in 4 years, more than what Mimiko took in 4 years, and has done nothing with that money. We have seen a governor that approved the renovation of an office within an office complex for 90 million naira, and not a load of sand has been dropped where that renovation is happening. We have seen a governor that Banji said released 3.5 billion to revamp primary schools. And not a single work is going on in the dilapidated primary schools across that dot the landscape of the state. Enough of this litany of lies.
Mr. Ayo Fadaka, PDP campaign spokesperson, and we also had Honorable Banji Okuomo, APC campaign spokespersons. All we can do is now wish you and your principals luck next week, Saturday.
We need the luck. They don't deserve it.
No, the PDP, they have no candidates.
Thank you very much for being with us. Sunrise will be right back with another interesting conversation. Do remain with us.
People will see the progress we are making.
Lagos State needs like about 6,000 megawatts or more.
That is the last estimate, about 6,000.
Okay, and you're hoping to fulfill this 6,000
over 3-4 years. Over 3-4 years, about 3 from our own initiative, and we expect that we'll continue to get about 3 from the national grid.
Okay, so this initiative will take up like that 3,000 megawatts.
Yes.
And you say in 180 days.
No, hold on.
Okay.
180 days, existing source of supply and all manner of embedded supplies will come on board. We will be able to make sure that some areas can report that we see the improvement is sustainable. We have done 30, we have done 90, we are going to 180 days. Then as more plants come on board, we can say sustainably, we are not rationing in any part of Lagos again. Lagos has enough. And maybe we have to spare on the national grid too. So let's be careful so that you don't go and overblow the expectations. Yeah, it's to get a lot of those plants, they are not on the shelf. You have to import them. The capacity that we see has been embedded in the neighborhoods and all that can come on stream. They will not be up to 300, 500 megawatts, and that cannot solve the problem. But it will help us to sustainably say some neighborhoods around where those plants are, they have been taken care of. They have some stability.
So what areas are we talking about?
What areas?
Yes.
You need to give me a little bit of time to be able to confirm those areas. But I can tell you, based on the culture of payment, okay, we will start from the high-income neighborhoods and then gradually cascade it all over the city.
So the culture of payment is going to play another role
November.
here.
Okay.
So that's like in like 180 days is like 6 months?
6 months.
Thereabouts.
6 months from us receiving the regulatory oversight for Lagos.
Okay, let's, as we wind down, talk about, managing power. Yes, we know we don't have enough, but how would you advise for homes, offices, for us to manage power too?
Okay, I will, let me use my home as an example. I mean, one was not looking forward to getting into government, so I just organized myself, all right? You have my solar infrastructure. In all honesty, that is my primary. My house runs basically on that. So you now have Eco-Disco. Anytime my primary goes down, Eco-Disco backs up. So where Eco-Disco is not available, my diesel generator is available. That is the order. That's the first thing. The second thing is that everybody, house manager, house driver, everybody around knows that you cannot just leave light on. You must need light to put it on. That is another discipline. You cannot just leave air conditioning units on. And then we already have a culture of, hey, how many are we in this house? Why can't 2, 3 of us stay in one room? So if we must use AC,
one air conditioner.
Yes, and use one air conditioner. And just be as simple as that. And then you have some rooms that have been designed with all manners of mood lighting. Hey, must I put everything on? So one of them, or even a bedstand LED light is enough. So that is there. Then the way my microwave is configured is that it's not just available for anybody to just go and press. you need to switch to NEPA or put on the generator. So that all those one takes an effort.
Yeah.
So you have to really, really engage yourself and be sure that do I really want to do this?
It
saves you a lot of energy.
It does.
And then we have somebody came around and we have seen, we already have a biodigester. So the person said, okay, you know what? Let me harvest some gas for you. Another, how much? 20 or 30,000 naira. So what is already installed? He's going to put some gadgets in place to ensure that we have some balloon that sits somewhere there that we can attach something to, and we can use as alternate to the gas we normally buy from the gas station, and we can use that at home. So you just need to be, and I'll be honest with you, my neighbors are spending $500,000 on electricity and all that. It's not easy when you are installing
the initial cost.
The initial cost of the solar panel is not easy. When you're also building, and you are building to have a sustainable home, it may not be easy for you. Instead of lawn, you now say, no, I want crops that can give me. I want ugu, vegetable, mango, tomato. Pepper. Oh yeah, that's what I want you to put in place. Yeah. If you check the cost of the guy that come to help you with the maintenance of that, or even if you spend 2 hours of your Saturday or Sunday to deal with all those ones, you are already making a lot of margin from what you will have spent naturally. Yeah. All these potted plants we can use in our houses.
So the message is we shouldn't switch on the light, the electricity.
Don't waste
if we
electricity.
Don't need it.
Yeah. You don't need don't look forward to anybody paying your bills for you.
Don't just switch on the TV just because you want to hear the sound.
Noise. You want to hear noise. You can do something with your phone. It will make the noise that you need. Don't do anything that will have a cost that is going straight to your meter. Yeah. Just be smart about what you do.
Thank you so much for coming on this morning. Commissioner for Energy and Mineral Resources in Lagos State, Mr. Abiodun Ogunleye. We wish you all the best, and I'm sure Lagosians are looking forward to the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break, and Sunrise will be back in a moment to talk about optimum health. Just stay with us.
Thank you for staying with us. The lifestyle segment today looks at changes for optimum health. What does that mean? Anyway, first of all, Dr. Yonda Agbiniga is here, lifestyle and wellness consultant, who, if you remember, every time she comes, she puts me on the spot and tells me things I don't want to hear. She tells me not to eat chocolates anymore and stuff like that. Good morning, Yonda.
Good morning.
Did I lie?
It's good to be here again.
So she's going to talk to us today about changes for optimum health. And that entails adjustment to long-term habits, typically related to eating or physical activity, with a commitment to sustaining the new behavior over extended periods, often spanning months or years. So what should you eat so that you don't put on too much, so you don't become obese, not put on too much weight, so you don't become obese? What do you eat? What kind of exercises do you do so you don't come down with diabetes and stuff like that? Or what do you do if you already have the condition? What do you do? What kind of foods do you eat to take care of that condition so it doesn't end up in something
complicated,
and it doesn't lead to
complications?
Okay. Dr. Yonda Agbiniga. Good morning, and thank you for coming to see us again today. Please don't tell me not to eat chocolates. Thank you.
She will try not.
So, what kind of foods should one eat to maintain a good, I'm not going to say slim, because you don't have to be slim to be healthy. A good body weight. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I think it's better we look at it as lifestyle modification targeted at specifics, so we'll be able to address the correct food under those platforms. So there are two dimensions in which lifestyle modification works. It's directed at optimum health. You want to do preventives, you want to have longevity, you want to prevent certain conditions. However, there is a second dimension to it, which involves lifestyle modification targeted at specific conditions. There's a kidney problem, there are modifications you need to make. There are coronary heart diseases, there are modifications you need to make. There's diabetes, there are modifications you need to make. Arthritis, there are modifications you need to make. So if we go the broad channel way of what am I supposed to eat, what am I not supposed to eat, it will be a lot more effective if you're looking at specific conditions you want to target and you want to remedify or make a remedy on.
We'll need you to guide us. Let's use the ones that are most prevalent. I know that hypertension is, I know that diabetes is in our society. So let's start with those two.
Okay, so usually when I have to speak on lifestyle modification, especially with those two conditions, which also dovetails down to preventive health for general optimum wellness. For a diabetic, we initially need to look at, even for someone with high blood pressure or any cardiovascular disease, that's a heart disease, the baseline thing for a diabetic person is to avoid sugars. So we always look at what do we stay off from, and then we move down to what can optimize our health. So we know that, like they say, that diabetes and high blood pressure are cousins. When one is there, the other will come. When one is there, they love each other. Now, you know that the basic thing that causes that problem is too much fats. And that fat, when it's converted, is stored as glycogen. When it's being broken down, it's an alternative source of energy, more like glucose, which also spikes your blood sugar. So the basic thing to do is to avoid sugar. So you're going to look at all the range of food that would put you into trouble with fats, sugar, bad fats, sugar. So when you're looking at what should I be eating, now it boils down to things that have good fats, low or no sugar. We're not talking of zero sugar, those things that come with zero sugars, that they write zero sugars on. Those are replaced with alternative sweeteners, things like aspartame, that is about 200 to 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. They call them...
Excuse me? How many times sweeter than sugar?
Now, a few years back, when you go online to check for it, it was 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. Now, I think the numbers have been modified, and it's now like 200 times sweeter than sugar.
Can anything be sweeter than sugar?
Yes. You have your sweeteners, you have your aspartame, your saccharin, you have your oxysulfame, all those caloric, they call them non-caloric sweeteners. When they are introduced into your drinks, they make them sweet, but then they will tell you no sugars. So you find someone who is diabetic, who is supposed to be abstaining from those sweeteners, those non-caloric sweeteners, saying, oh, this has zero sugars, and he's on it. That's the fastest way to fast-track diabetes and its degeneration.
Fastest way to destruction.
That's say nicely. Yeah, so especially for and then candies, sweets, drinks for children that have all those artificial sweeteners are particularly not good. So if we're going to look at the list of artificial sweeteners, which is causing a lot of health issues for people, that would be a good place to start.
Okay, I'm interested more in, let's not get to where the doctor is going to give you a list of things to avoid. How can we start to modify the things that we do, the things that we eat, so that we don't even get into the position of, having to have a list from the doctors and say, avoid this, because when you get that list, it is not an easy thing to do. So from the start, how should we live optimally?
Okay, so the first thing, like I said earlier, I have what we call at the center the eliminate list. So we kind of have an eliminate list, which guides us into what you should do. So you know that you don't want to do sugars, you don't want to do bad fats. So you're looking at what are the baseline things I should do. I should look for fruits, vegetables, and then, of course, always supplement vitamins, because you do not always get enough from the produce. Now, the soil is depleted, there's erosion, we don't do all those rotational farming like it was in those days, so you don't get to replenish nutrients in the soil. So you always need to do guided nutritional supplementation, which I always say you need a specialist or a trained person or a certified person to do that for you. So you have to introduce exercise. Like I say, exercise is not only about six packs. It is about getting the organ that should never stop working to continuously be working. So you need the heart to pump, to beat, to push blood around the body. That's the essence of exercise. Your regular aerobics works. When you're 40 and above, I always say, try and do jumping jacks. You don't want to go to the gym or something. Stay in one spot and jump. Jump 80 to 100 times, or if you can do it, 200. That's a lot. But 80, 80 to 100 times jumping jacks. You can do it in divided portions.
And that's not going to have any effect on the knees?
Jumping jacks, you don't have to go so high. You do your hands up, down, and all that stuff. So, and you twist and turn just to ensure you have optimum blood flow. That's basic. You have oxygen coursing through your system. That's number one. Good for the body. Now, your fats, you do the good fats, less fries, air frying, air frying, less fried foods, less burgers, the fries, look for things like avocado, because there's a study that says that if you get a lot of HDL, that's the good fat, it helps you lower the bad fats. So that's optimal. Then the third thing is you need a lot of fruits. Because you're going to supplement, but then the combination with which they come, if I am taking vitamin C, maybe 1,000 milligrams or something, if I take an orange, it comes with biflavonoids, all that stuff together. So as well as I am supplementing, I'm also on my fruits and vegetables, because I get beta carotene, all that good stuff for the eye from the fruits. Then the vegetables, ensure you get enough of them. You want to do your food portioning. You have your carbs, you have your vegetables. You don't have to cook the vegetables and kill it. Vitamins are very susceptible to heat. So once they go on fire, they're gone. Like when you go to the market and you buy your vegetables and you have them to dice it for you, and then you come home and then you rinse them.
And you see the green going away with the water.
Everything is gone. So you're kind of taking in roughage. And then we now cook it like 5 minutes. That thing is still steaming. We're done. We're now adding the beef and all that stuff for another 10 minutes. There's nothing in it.
Ondo, please, I'd like you to just say that again, because I know that in many homes, they buy their vegetables, they get home, then they pour boiling water onto the veggies till they turn brown.
There's nothing in it.
And then they cook them again in their soup. What was the reasoning behind pouring boiling water on them first? Can't you just rinse them properly and just put them in your soup like that?
Yeah, that idea came from, it's called blanching.
Yeah.
So you want to you don't want it to be so crunchy, but you get your good benefits from your vegetables being crunchy. Now, there are some vegetables that you might really need to blanch. Like those ones that when you cut them off their plants, they come off with those whitish
sap.
Sap. And those sap, when they touch your skin, cause irritation. So for those ones, you might need to blanch just to neutralize whatever it is you have there, and then cook. But for the regular vegetables,
your shoko, your
pumpkin,
yes,
what's your ugu?
Yes, those ones. And then there's this thing that I see when I go to maybe restaurants or eateries, like, or maybe you're eating a buffet or something in a hotel. The salads are steamed. It is amazing. The cabbage, the carrots, yes, the cabbage is steamed. Seriously, you're steaming your cabbage. What's left there?
To make a salad.
Yeah, no, they have this steamed bowl.
Veggies.
Yes, veggies are steamed.
Carrots
and everything in a bowl, and then especially some of the cabbage cut out into big leaves and steamed. I don't go near it. Like, there's nothing there because the all you have there is the roughage that is left. So it's like steaming your orange. So the instant for vegetables, they don't have vitamins, are not very heat friendly. So when you've made your stew and all that stuff in our local content here, just have the vegetables on fire. Do a 1 or 30 minutes stirring and get it done. 30 seconds, sorry. 30 seconds stirring and get it down. And then have it with your portion of carbs,
Your rice or your potatoes or whatever.
And then to conclude the question that was asked.
You've talked about exercise, the good fat, fruits, and vegetables.
Then sleep. Sleep is essential, so, and water too. I find out that we are not very well hydrated. We're not very well hydrated across the world, not only in our Nigerian context. We need to take a lot of water to ensure the kidneys are pumping, filtering, that's the word, are filtering, electrolyte balance is important and all that. So we need to have a lot of fluid. Sleep is important because if we don't get our 6 to 8 hours sleep, melatonin is not produced and all
8
that.
8 hours of sleep.
All that stuff. So what I say for busy executives is that ensure that you take divided naps during the day. When there is burnout, go, and so that your body is able to rejuvenate. There's a DAR cycle in which it's a biochemical recipe for eating, in which in the mornings you go, because when you wake up in the morning, you want to pee, okay, and you want to clean out, So in the morning, breakfast is good, but you're not supposed to load on your breakfast. So I'm going somewhere with the DAR cycle. Your body is in a detox mode. So that's not the time for you to load up on 5 wraps of swallow with beans and bread in our side of the world, because your body is in a detox mode. You are supposed to turbocharge that detox mode by going on your juices, your teas, and your juices, smoothies, and water.
Before you go on, some people will say, depending on the kind of work that you do, if you're going to
the farm
be involved in very strenuous activities, you want to drink tea?
Let me explain that out.
Okay.
Even if you are involved in very strenuous activities, you have to understand how the body works. If your body is working on that cycle of detoxifying in the morning, there's a normal way of your body wanting to clean out in the morning. You are supposed to turbocharge it. By 12, you start with assimilation. Your body starts assimilating nutrients. If you confuse that system by introducing more, the body suspends detoxification. And then I was going somewhere actually, because by evening, 6, 7, 8, 9, when you're sleeping, that's when your body
when you're expected to sleep.
That's when your body is in the rejuvenate mode. That's when you have a cut on your hand. By the time you wake up the next morning, you see fibrin, those black stuff have gone on it. That's when there's a breakdown, there's healing, there's rejuvenation, there's melatonin production and all that. And that's when your vitamins are optimum and working, okay? At that time, that overnight repair, you have debris from that hard work that your body did. And your body is actively trying to push out that thing. If you do not sleep, you do not heal. Okay, you do not rejuvenate. So in the mornings, those debris are being pushed out. And you have loaded yourself with breakfast like a king. I know I am challenging the status quo, but if you really do a lot of biological sciences, you would know that you cannot load yourself up like that in the morning. You are going to confuse that
breakfast
detox
like a king
pathway. You know, so you would support that detox pathway. By 12, you start assimilation. Load up as much as you want by afternoon, because your body is in the assimilation mode, assimilating nutrients, assimilating carbs, proteins, and everything. By that time, by evening, you are rejuvenating and you are reducing what you're taking in. That's when you have your fruits and your vegetables alongside with something very light, so that by the time you're sleeping, your body is in that healing mode. And we have all followed that, eat heavy in the morning. And if you follow this DAR cycle, detox, assimilate, and rejuvenate, it would save you. Weight loss starts from there.
Let's talk about water. Some have said we should take like how many liters in a day? You see, the fad people have.
They say 3 liters.
So how should we go about it?
Okay, so there's a lot of 8 liters, 8 cups, 8 Ds and all that.
Did you say 8 liters?
Not 8 liters, but the 8th thing. But I always say ensure that your body, there's this training topic we always do called body talks. Like when you have a headache, you're supposed to stop the headache. Of course, you can't go around with a headache. But that headache is a body signal telling you that something is wrong. Okay, so your job is to find out what exactly is wrong and rectify it. Do not shut it down completely like, hey, keep quiet, painkiller, and keep going. Okay, so the same thing, once you are thirsty, you are dehydrated. So ensure your body marker to allow you know that you are grossly dehydrated is when you're thirsty. So ensure that you don't get into the thirst mode, so that you're always hydrating. Have your bottle by your side. You can drop a cucumber in it, or your lime or lemon or something, just to give it some flavor, so that you're not like, oh, I'm just drinking water all day.
Okay, this water thing, I have read somewhere that it is more important than we actually think. That a lot of older people die, and it's because they are dehydrated. They wait until they're thirsty before they drink water. So they say that we should drink water all through the day, little sips all along.
Yeah.
That it keeps us healthy, it keeps our skin supple, and all that. Is there any truth in that?
Well, about the dying part, we need research and empirical data.
Yes, I read it somewhere. It may not have been true, but I know I read it.
However, there is one organ in the body that needs the water. That is the kidneys. The sodium-potassium pump needs your electrolytes to be balanced. The people who are listening who understand that would understand what I'm saying. Your sodium-potassium pump needs electrolytes to work very well, and once you are dehydrated, your electrolytes, sodium, magnesium, calcium, all that stuff, which you need for enzyme function, for body functions, for your body to digest food, for your nails to grow, your hair to grow, for the face to be fine. Those are what enzymes, coenzymes, cofactors do, okay? If you are dehydrated, there is an imbalance in those things. they're called electrolytes. There's an imbalance in it, and that's why sometimes you find people taking them back either by parenteral modes, that is non-oral, especially if there is a lot of imbalance, because with the deficiency of one of those nutrients, magnesium stuff, can cause a wide range of conditions because they are cofactors in another reaction in the body. So you take it out, this goes wappy, that goes wappy, this goes wappy, and you're like, oh, I'm foggy, I'm feeling foggy. You're like, oh, what caused it? Just maybe you are magnesium deficient, something like that, you know.
And it's all down to...
Yes. Okay. Now, because you don't have enough water, the electrolyte is not balanced, you know, and so you need to rehydrate to get the kidneys to function, the sodium-potassium pump to function, the calcium and all those toxins also to be flushed out when you are peeing, because that's the work of the kidneys, ultrafiltration, to push those things out.
So while we're talking about taking enough water, let's also look at too much water. Water intoxication.
Okay.
Can we do, can a person actually, you know,
Yes, you can.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So, like an example of that is after food, you need your digestive enzymes, the ones in the stomach, the enzymes that are going to break down food. Yeah, I'm trying to not use so much scientific terms. The enzymes that will break down food, the things in your body, the chemicals in your body that will break down food. If you are too hydrated, those enzymes become kind of...
You can be too hydrated?
become
too much water.
They become over-diluted because your body is secreting them per time, okay? So if you have... You would know when your tummy would rumble with water. So those enzymes become too diluted, and then digestion process can slow down. But thank God we have kidneys. The work of those guys, the whole excretory system is, if you take too much, you're going to pee it out. In short, I tell people, when you take too much alkaline water, or if you take too much carbonates and you put it in your water just to alkalize it and all that, you're going to you will have running stomach because your body is going to push it out for you. You have the same thing with diarrhea. If you have something wrong in your body is going to keep pushing it out. You will keep stooling and running stomach until that thing is out.
Now, I see that.
Run out of time.
Yeah, I see it. But let's talk about the exercise. I want to find out. I was coming this morning and saw a lady. She was doing brisk walking, you know. If I walk normally for 30 minutes, will it count for something? And not do brisk walking? Will it count?
Well, you know, I'm thinking of all the journals and all the schooling and all the textbooks, and like the thing is brisk walking because you want to get your heart to pump. However, the new energy clocks, timepieces that we have on, they're counting your steps. Smartwatches, thank you. They're counting your steps to ensure that you are active and not sedentary. However, if you want to get optimum pumping, do brisk walking. However, don't be sedentary. That's what the timepieces are saying.
Just keep moving.
Yes, keep moving.
Keep moving. Dr. Yonda Agbeniga, lifestyle and wellness consultant. She hasn't told me today not to eat chocolate, so for that I'm very grateful.
She will tell you after the show.
And for you, brisk walking. So Sunrise will return with the home stretch in just a moment.
Welcome back. So our artist of the week is in the house. She's an actor, singer, performer with credits spanning across TV, theater, film, and web. join me in welcoming Ade Laoye.
Hi,
good to have you
good
here.
To have you.
Drum roll.
Good to have you. Good to have me. What am I saying? I'm like, good to have you. No, this is not my show, guys. Thanks for having me.
I called her Vic Kalu when she came in, and that's coming from the Black Book.
Yes.
So nice to see you in person.
Thank you so much.
You've been here and there, doing everywhere. Let's talk about, your journey.
Sure.
Let's start from there.
Okay.
Yes.
So I studied theater arts at Penn State University in the U.S., and I worked in the Philadelphia area. I worked in New York. And in 2012, I decided I was going to move back home to Nigeria. And that's how my Nollywood, that's how my Nollywood journey started. So I officially came into the industry, I guess I would say 2013. I started as a presenter on Ebony Life TV, and then I transitioned into film and TV. But I have a theater background primarily, but I've been doing film and TV for the past, I guess, 12 years now.
So what was the first Nigerian movie that you acted in?
The first Nigerian movie I did was actually, it was called Knocking on Heaven's Door. It was an Isong project, Royal Arts Academy in 2013. Yeah, that was my first film.
And after that, you've done the Black Book, A Naija Christmas, Castle and Castle.
That book is relatively new.
And Anyila.
Yes.
I'm trying to.
Anyila.
Anyila, yes.
I played Jaye, the journalist. That was trying to get his story in Ayla,
Yeah, I never got it.
She never did.
I never got it. So how would you describe the journey so far? Because it would seem as, okay, it's like, how many years now in Nollywood?
I guess 12.
12 years.
Yeah, about 12, yeah.
And you're out there.
We thank God. No, the journey, it's been great. I have no regrets. I'm so proud of the Nollywood industry and how we continue to grow and evolve. There are lots of challenges, Nigerian problems, Nollywood problems and Nigerian problems. We deal with all of the issues that every other industry in Nigeria faces. But it's been great. We are creating incredible things against all odds. We're pushing boundaries with every project. We're getting better technically. We're getting better with our stories. We're getting better technically. So yeah, it's fun. It's hard, but it's been fun.
I know
if it means anything.
Yeah.
I got hooked to Nollywood from watching a soap in which you featured.
Which one?
Hush.
Oh my gosh, Hush.
I was just scrolling one evening and I saw the title and I said, Hush. That looks like it's going to be interesting.
Aww.
And I watched it. And I had to watch Hush to the end because it was so good. And I said to myself, this is what I've been missing, not watching Nigerian movies. Nigerian movies are good.
You know what's funny?
Never mind that we still say that when you're watching a Nigerian movie, you hold on to the remote. Because at one point you need to turn up the volume. And then at the next scene, you have to turn it down.
And we do still have some technical challenges, but it's a young industry and we're growing and we're getting better. But you know what's funny? People still call me Oye Agumbiade when they see me on the street, which is my character in Hush. They're like, Oye. And I'm like, yeah. Okay. So that character has stuck with a lot of people and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah. It's Vic Kalu that stuck with me. So that stuck. Let's talk about your work with top producers abroad and here. What would you say we need to improve upon?
Well, I've been very fortunate in my career. I feel like I've worked with everyone. I've had the opportunity to work with Kunle Afolayan, Abudu, Bolanle Austin Peters, Editi Effiong. I feel like I'm name dropping right now, but
it's all right.
RMD. I feel like RMD and I have done like 3 projects together at this point. So I feel very, very fortunate. What do we need to improve on? I think this is just a challenge across the board. We just need more money. Money gives us options. Money gives us more time. The more money we have, the more we can spend time really developing stories. The more money we'll have to pay actors and the crew so that they can stick with one project for, you know, a longer time. In this part of the world, we don't have the luxury of spending 6 months on one project, you know, the way they do overseas. Many actors are jumping from set to set. You know, you may be shooting 3 movies at the same time. And it's not ideal, but it's what a lot of people have to do just to make ends meet and to survive.
But you must admit that we're getting there, because I remember celebrating, what's her name's movie? Funke Akindele. Yes, that hit 1 billion. I mean, that was a huge celebration.
Yeah.
But isn't that the beginning of more money coming into the industry?
We hope. I mean, there is a whole, I guess, ecosystem. So you never really know how much you're going to make when you're making a movie. You don't really know. You hope that people will spend their hard-earned money to watch your film, but you can't guarantee what the numbers will be on the other side. So as a producer or as a creator, you have to be smart with your funding, because you just don't know. You have investors to pay back. You know, Naira can decide that it's going to fall today, so the budget you started with is not going to be like by the end of the month. It's not what you're going to end with. So there are many factors that are constantly in flux. So it's always, I feel like it's always a surprise whenever we hit those numbers. It's like, yes, the gamble paid off, but you don't really know if it will or not. So you have to be smart from the start.
How well did Black Book do?
Well, it went to Netflix. And so based on the metrics that we have available, as of when it came out last year, I believe it was the most streamed African film on any streamer globally. So I think we did over like 70 million views as of like the last count. So I don't know what it is today.
Not bad.
But not bad, right? Not bad. So as far as we know, it was the most streamed African film globally on Netflix. So,
So you do theater, you do film.
Yes.
Which do you like more?
Oh my gosh, they're very different.
I know.
They're very different. What I love about theater is just having the audience in front of you and just the energy from that. It requires a slightly different skill set than film and TV. On stage, you're in the moment. There's no take two. You can't do it again. There's no cut. And you sort of start telling the story from the beginning to the end. While with film, you know, oftentimes I could even be acting and my scene partner is not there, but the camera is here and I'm literally talking to no one. Or we also shoot out of sequence. So you may shoot the very last scene of the film first, you know? So it's just, they're different mediums. I mean, acting is acting.
Sometimes evil-eye people like us will see that and say, okay, this doesn't seem to go well, but it happens.
But I don't know if I think because I trained in theater, I feel like I'm a stage baby at heart. But, you know, any opportunity to express myself and be creative, I know
you're involved with the Lagos International Theatre Festival.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. Very excited to talk about that. So the Lagos International Theatre Festival this is the first year that we're doing it. It's in collaboration with Lagos State and Terra Culture and the Bolanle Austin Peters Productions. So it's starting November 14th to the 17th. And there's going to be 25 plays happening across 4 venues in Lagos. It's going to be Terra Culture, Muson Center, Glover Hall, and University of Lagos. Okay. So, and when we say international, we mean international because we also have representation from South Africa, from the US, and from Zambia as well. But it's going to be a festival where creatives all across Lagos are putting on plays, shows. There's going to be workshops as well happening over those 4 days in Lagos. So it's going to be amazing.
The movies.
Sorry, may I have those dates again?
Yes, November 14th to the 17th. Yeah.
17th.
So what if I'm planning to come now? What should I expect?
So expect different kinds of plays, different topics, different subject matter. We have, so the play I'm personally involved in is called High. It's a contemporary stage play, and that's put on by Road 14 Studios. My producing partner, Keke Hammond, is our executive producer, and it's a contemporary stage play that deals with substance abuse amongst teenagers. So it's, it's very good for teenagers and their parents. We're going to have musicals as well. We're going to have short plays. We're going to have longer plays. So there's going to be music, there's going to be dance. Basically, the whole festival is a celebration of community, culture, and the creative arts in Lagos State. So there's going to be vendors. You can buy things at the different locations. There'll be food. There'll be activities where you can bring your kids, bring your family members. There'll be games, all sorts of fun things happening over those 4 days. Yeah.
Nollywood is competing, in quotes, with Hollywood.
Okay.
Now, do you see us catching up? Okay, we're doing good, yes, but we're not doing as good as we should because this country is filled with talent.
Yes.
I mean, we can't, I take a bow on behalf of Nigerians. Yes. We can't hide that. So why is it that we haven't caught up yet? We're still crawling, if you know what I mean.
Yes. So, like I said earlier, this is still a relatively young industry. And I feel like I always take it a little personally when people compare us to Hollywood because it's a much bigger size. America is big, and so the resources that they have available, the support that they get from the government and all of that, we just don't have that access yet. And like I said, we have our kind of unique Nigerian challenges that prevent rapid growth. But I think what I want to say about Nigerian creatives is we're resilient. And in spite of all of the challenges, we're still churning out. We're still churning out projects. We're still trying. Yeah. And I feel like if people saw a day in the life of like a filmmaker, like if you came on set and just saw what was going on, I think you would give us a little bit more credit. Not to make an excuse, not to make excuses. I understand that at the end of the day, the paying customer wants to give their money and pay their money and see something, get their money's worth, see something amazing on screen. But we're battling some principalities and powers behind the scenes. But we will get there. We will get there. A lot of really young, talented filmmakers are doing some incredible things right now. I just came, this is the AFRIF week, where it's the film festival, so screening movies from all across Africa. And I'm just really excited about the future of our industry.
How does Nollywood compare with other film industries around Africa?
That's a very good question. I think in terms of like numbers, like I feel like the volume of the things that we churn out, I think we're like the second largest like film industry in the world in terms of like just the volume of the things that we churn out. I think our stories are unique to us. I think our audience is very unique. Like the Nigerian audience is very interesting. Oftentimes, when we try to sort of like replicate this Hollywood thing, it doesn't work here for us. We want to see ourselves on screen. We want to hear our language. We want to see our unique stories. And so I think a lot of filmmakers also kind of trying to just create more, indigenous stories. And I think just even globally as well, the world is sort of starting to look at Africa like as an emerging market. I feel like African stories, music is starting to travel outside of the continent.
It has traveled.
It has traveled. Like Thames with her Grammy nominations. You go Thames.
Yes.
But yeah, so I think I feel like the entertainment, the movie, the film industry is next. We have made a name for ourselves. We just need to like back it up with the right stories and the right quality.
My sister-in-law who lives in the States. She's Black American. And she is hooked on Nigerian movies. And I mean, every day of the week, she does not go to bed before 3 a.m.
I love that.
And, you know, I visited about 2 months ago. And she was trying to speak like a Nigerian.
Oh my goodness. I love that.
So when you say we want to see ourselves, we want to hear our language, other people want to hear our language
absolutely,
too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So our movies have gone far and wide.
They really have.
I recall before streaming came out, every time you were traveling, they would say, bring us Nigerian tapes. Bring us the tapes of Nigerian
the DVDs,
CDs and when it was VHS.
Yeah.
Please bring us Nigerian movies.
Oh my God.
So they knew all the latest movies that were coming out in Nigeria.
That's incredible.
Even though they lived abroad. And I think that's a plus for us. And it is still the same. But now they don't have to wait for us to bring the tapes. You know, they're streaming.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and let's go back to the Lagos International Theatre Festival. I know that she's talking about how Nigerian movies have gone far. You're going to have international people also come on.
Yeah.
How is it going to help, you know, Nollywood, you know, gaining more prominence?
Well, I guess, I mean, Nollywood sort of has established its own identity in the film and TV space. I think with theater, because, I mean, I feel like theater is experiencing a sort of renaissance right now, and it has been over the past couple of years. I feel like theater kind of just died for a while, because I remember, like, in the
days of Ogun Day and
like I remember I spent my childhood in Ibadan, and I just remember like my parents would talk about like going to the theater and like you know like UI and all of that, and I felt like growing up that just sort of went away. And over the past couple of years, I'm going to give a shout out to Auntie Bolanle right now, Bolanle Osipitas with Terra Culture. When I first moved back and I was really excited about theater, Terra Culture was the only place that I knew that was doing plays I think it was every Sunday. There were plays every Sunday. And I was just like, I need to connect, I need to plug into this. What I love about the theater space, just the sense of community and just artists who are just passionate. You know, there's no real money in theater, let's be honest. Like you can't blow in the theater. No. So for theater artists, it's all about the passion to tell these stories. And so I feel like over the past couple of years, theater is really starting to kind of emerge. Like people want to see live shows. And so I'm hoping that with this theater festival, with the partnership with Lagos State, that it'll really shine a spotlight on the theater, and that we can also, because like we talked about music and film and TV, I feel like theater is also like, me too, I'm here, don't forget about me. So we're hoping that with events like this, the Lagos International Theater Festival, it'll really give people something to be excited about, it'll give artists something to plug into, to be a part of. I mean, when we did Saro the musical, we took it to London, you know, it gives people the opportunity to tour. We can perform in different countries. I think Fela might have gone to Dubai, I believe. Don't quote me on that. But, you know, so Terra Culture plays have traveled and gone to many different countries. I saw Hereward last week or 2 weeks ago. They were celebrating their 10th anniversary. Celebrated their 10th anniversary, Mrs. Ifeoma Fafunwa's production company. And, you know, they've traveled all over the world. So I think what theater also does, like we're able to just connect with the global audience in a different way. It's, I think it's a labor of love. And so with festivals like this, I think it just really shines a spotlight on the stage. And maybe in another couple of years, we'll be neck and neck with Nollywood. And then it'll be like, oh, I'm a theater actor. Oh, I'm a film actor. Oh, I'm theater. Oh, I'm Nollywood. Maybe the time will come when we'll be able to stand toe to toe. But, you know, with this theater festival, it's a great place to start. So,
and for you, looking into the future, I know you've done so much so far. What more should we expect?
Well, I think for me, the next phase of my career, I would probably be delving into producing. I've done some producing. I did my own one-woman show as part of the Lagos Fringe Festival. Shout out Brenda and Kenneth Uhoho as well. And, you know, I've produced, so the play we're doing for the Lagos International Theatre Festival is called High. We produced it in 2018 and 2019. And so we're bringing it back as a part of this festival. And so I was a producer on that. But I think I want to start producing my own films as well. So I have a couple of ideas in development right now. So maybe this time next year, I'll be like Auntie Funke, and I'll be like, come and see my movie.
I in the box office.
And I'll be like, 1 billion, yes.
Yeah. Right on, girl.
Fingers crossed.
Right on, girl. The Nigerian public is behind you all because they love to see and hear their stories and see their stories on the screen. Like we discussed with Moni Oboli the other day came. You know, she came and she said her new movie, The Market Women, just love to see themselves on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's us. That's us.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We've been having a swell time with actor, singer, performer Ade Laoye. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And Ade Laoye brings to a close sunrise for this week. We'll bring you a fresh edition next week. I am the day of the Ondo State governorship elections. Until then, I am Alero Edu, wishing you all the best and be the best that you can be.
And I'm Yomi Otaigbe. Thank you so much for your time with us today.